The encounter. Alex sat alone in his small apartment, the city lights shining outside his window. Everything looked normal, but inside his heart something was wrong. Since the day he came back from his space mission, strange feelings followed him. At night, he could not sleep because in every dream a woman's voice called his name. Her words were soft, yet full of pain. "Why did you abandon me, human?" Alex always woke up sweating, his chest heavy. He told himself it was only a dream, only his guilty mind playing tricks. But deep inside, he knew the truth. This was not just imagination. Someone somewhere was reaching out to him. The memories of the mission never left him. He had traveled far beyond the colonies, into the ruins of an alien world. A world destroyed by war, empty and silent. Among the broken buildings, he had found one survivor, an alien woman. Her skin glowed faintly, her silver eyes watching him with fear and hope. He remembered helping her, giving her water, telling her she was safe. But when the ground collapsed and the ruins fell, he believed she died. He carried that secret home, never telling his crew, never telling command. Now, years later, her face returned to him in dreams. The same glowing eyes, the same voice. Each night her words grew stronger, almost real, until one night the dream broke and became reality. It was past midnight, the rain falling outside. Alex heard a sound from his kitchen, a sound like someone breathing. He froze, his hand reaching for the light switch. When he turned it on, he saw her. The alien woman stood there, wet from the rain, her silver eyes fixed on him. She looked exactly as he remembered, only older, stronger. Her voice trembled with anger and sadness. "Why did you abandon me, human?" Alex's breath caught, his heart almost stopped. It was impossible. She had died, he was sure of it. But she was standing right in front of him, alive. Her clothes were strange, made from material not of Earth. Her presence filled the room with energy, like static before storm. "Lyra," Alex whispered, remembering the name she had once told him. The woman's eyes narrowed. "Yes, human," she said. "You remember, but you left me. You ran away." Her voice cut deep, filled with pain. "You promised you would not leave, but you did." Alex shook his head. "No, I thought you were gone. I tried to save you, but the ruins." Lyra stepped closer, water dripping from her hair. "Lies," she whispered. "If you cared, you would have come back for me. But you left me in the dark, alone, while your ship escaped." Her words stabbed into him. For years he had hidden the guilt, telling himself he had no choice. Now it returned, alive in front of him. But how did she survive? How did she find him here on Earth? Alex tried to stay calm. "This is not possible," he said. "How did you follow me? Earth is light years away." Lyra's silver eyes glowed brighter. "I remembered your face, your ship, your stars. I searched the galaxy, and I found you. I had nothing else, only your promise." The room felt smaller, the air heavy. Alex wanted to believe her, but fear filled him. If she was here, what else had followed? The government, the agency, the world. They were not ready for this. And if Lyra was alive, then his past choices were not buried. They stood here, breathing, accusing him. He stepped back, his voice shaking. "Lyra, I never wanted to leave you. I thought I lost you. I buried that memory because it hurt too much." But Lyra only shook her head, her expression unreadable. "You abandoned me once, human. Tell me now, will you do it again?" The question hung in the air, sharp like a blade. Alex had no answer. He stared at her, and for the first time in years, he felt like the past had returned to claim him. Outside, thunder roared, the rain falling harder. Inside the small apartment, a human and an alien faced each other, one with guilt, the other with anger. And the night was only beginning. The past connection. The storm outside grew louder, but inside the small apartment it was silent. Alex stood frozen, staring at Lyra, the alien woman he once believed dead. Her silver eyes locked on him with a mixture of anger and sorrow. He wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but his voice refused to rise. Lyra stepped closer, her movements calm, yet sharp. You think this is a dream, she said, her voice cold. But you know it is not. You remember everything, Alex. And yes, he did. The memories came back, one after another. Images he had tried to bury deep inside his mind. A dying planet, broken towers, skies filled with smoke. And among the ruins, her. Years ago, Alex had been part of a mission beyond the map colonies. A scouting team sent to search for resources on abandoned worlds. One planet in particular was silent. No signals, no life signs. The ground cracked with old scars of war. Everyone believed it was empty. But Alex had found something the scanners missed. Inside a collapsed structure, amid fire and dust, he had seen a figure struggling to breathe. A woman, though not human. Her skin faintly glowing, her hair like silver threads. She looked broken, yet her eyes still fought for life. Alex remembered kneeling beside her. He gave her water. He whispered, "You're safe now." She looked at him as if he was the first kind face she had ever seen. And in that moment, a silent bond formed between them. Not of species, not of worlds, but of survival. But fate was cruel. Explosions ripped through the ruins. The ground shook, walls crashed down. His commander shouted for retreat. Alex tried to pull her up, but the building collapsed, cutting them apart. Her screams still echoed in his heart. He believed she was gone. He carried her face with him, but never her name. Now, standing in his apartment, she whispered it for him. "Lyra," she said softly, "you promised not to leave, and yet you did." Alex's chest tightened. He had never told anyone about her. Not his crew, not his superiors, not even his closest friends. To the world, that mission was just another failed survey. But to him, it was a wound that never healed. How did you survive?" Alex finally asked. Lyra's gaze darkened. "The world wanted us erased. But I hid, I fought, I crawled through the ashes. And every breath I took, I remembered your face." She touched her chest with trembling hands. "You gave me hope when my people were gone. That hope kept me alive." Alex felt a cold wave of guilt. He had left her behind, not by choice, but by fear, by duty. Yet her words made the past heavier than ever. What he thought was a tragic accident, she saw as abandonment. "I swear to you, Lyra," Alex said, his voice breaking. "I believed you were dead. I had no power. If I could have saved you, I would." But Lyra's silence was sharp. She turned her face slightly, her eyes glinting. "You humans speak of loyalty, of honor, yet you run when things break. Tell me, Alex, are you truly different?" The question stabbed deeper than her anger, because Alex didn't know the answer. In the silence, thunder echoed outside like drums of war. He wanted to explain, but before he could, something strange happened. The lights in the room flickered, the air vibrated. Lyra raised her head suddenly, her expression tense. "They found me," she whispered. "Who?" Alex asked, fear spreading through his veins. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. "The hunters," she said. "They will not stop until I am gone. And now, human, they will come for you too." The storm outside roared louder. And in that instant, Alex realized the truth. The past was not only haunting him, it was chasing him across worlds, across time, and it had finally arrived on Earth. The alien's anger. The storm had not passed. It only grew louder. But inside Alex's apartment, another storm was already rising. Lyra stood in the center of the room, her silver eyes burning like fire. She did not look weak anymore. She looked dangerous. "You left me," she said again, her voice sharper now. "Do you know what it is like to die alone? To scream in the dark and hear no answer?" Her words cut like knives, each one heavier than the last. Alex felt them sink deep inside him. He wanted to argue, to defend himself. But the truth was, he had left. Even if he thought she was gone, even if it wasn't his choice, he still carried that guilt. "I never wanted to leave you," Alex said quietly. "I thought you were dead, Lyra." But Lyra's face twisted with rage. "Dead? Do I look dead to you?" she hissed. I clawed through rubble with blood on my hands. I searched the stars with nothing but hope. And all the time, your ship left without me. Alex stepped back, his voice trembling. You don't understand. My commander forced us to leave. We were outnumbered. The building was collapsing. But Lyra interrupted with a cry of anger. You chose your duty over me. You chose orders over life. Tell me, human, do you always betray the ones who trust you? The room shook with her fury. The air around her began to hum, her body glowing faintly as if energy ran under her skin. Alex's fear grew, not just from her words, but from the power inside her. She was not the same fragile survivor he once found. She had changed, become something far stronger. Alex raised his hand slowly, trying to calm her. Listen to me, Lyra. I am not your enemy. I carried your memory every day. I regret that moment more than anything in my life. But Lyra's eyes did not soften. Instead, she stepped closer, her voice low, dangerous. Regret is a weak shield, human. Your regret did not save me. Your regret will not protect you from what is coming. Her words chilled him. What do you mean? Alex asked. Lyra tilted her head, her glowing eyes locked on his. The hunters, they follow me across the stars. They know your planet hides me now, and they will kill anyone who stands in their path. Alex's heart pounded. He imagined armored aliens landing on Earth. Guns, warships, fire in the sky. If Lyra was telling the truth, the whole world was in danger. And somehow it was because of him. But before he could speak, Lyra leaned closer. Her voice softened, but it was not kind. It was bitter. Do you see, Alex? Your choice cursed us both. You abandoned me once. Now you will suffer the same fate, unless you stand with me. The words hit him hard. For years, he thought his mistake was buried in the past. Now it stood in front of him, alive and demanding justice. His mind raced, torn between fear and responsibility. But he knew one thing. He could not walk away this time. Then I'll stand with you, Alex said, his voice firm. Not because of guilt, but because I should have done it before. I won't abandon you again. For the first time, Lyra's anger faded slightly. Her eyes softened, though her face stayed cold. She studied him, as if searching for truth in his words. Then she whispered, Good, because if you leave me again, human, the hunters will not be the only ones you should fear. The storm outside crashed with thunder. But inside, the tension was heavier than the rain. A human and an alien stood face to face, bound by betrayal, guilt, and a war they could not escape. And somewhere above the clouds, unseen yet moving closer, the hunters had already begun their search. Secrets on Earth. The storm finally faded with the sunrise. But for Alex, the new day brought no peace. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at Lyra. She had fallen asleep in a chair near the window, her silver eyes closed. Even in sleep, she didn't look human. Her faint glow painted the room in soft light. She looked peaceful, almost fragile. But Alex remembered her anger from the night before. She was no fragile survivor. She was a storm waiting to break. He rubbed his face, his thoughts heavy. How was he supposed to explain this? He couldn't tell his neighbors. He couldn't tell the government. If anyone discovered her, they wouldn't protect her. They would cage her, study her, maybe even kill her. Lyra stirred awake, her eyes opening slowly. The first thing she did was look outside the window. Cars moved, people walked with coffee cups, children waited for school buses. Everything so normal, so ordinary. She tilted her head, whispering, This world, it is loud but alive. Alex forced a small smile. Welcome to Earth, he said softly, but Lyra didn't smile. Instead, she asked, Do they know you are fragile? Your people? Do they understand how weak you are compared to what is out there? Her words unsettled him. She wasn't wrong. Humans had no idea what existed beyond their stars. They lived blind, while galaxies burned and empires fell. And now, danger had followed him home. Later that day, Alex tried to keep Lyra hidden, but she was curious, too curious. She touched everything in his apartment. The light switches, the television, the refrigerator. Each time she asked a question in her sharp, direct voice. Why do you trap food in a cold box? Why do you keep fake stars in this screen? Why do humans drink bitter water and call it coffee? Alex tried to explain, but every answer made him realize how strange human life must look through alien eyes. By evening, Lyra convinced him to take her outside. He warned her 100 times to stay quiet, to keep her hood up, but the city was big, crowded, and noisy. No one paid much attention. At least, that's what Alex hoped. They walked through the market, Lyra's eyes wide at the sight of fruits, clothes, and neon signs. She stopped at a street musician playing violin. Her expression softened, as if the music reached a part of her that had been buried. For a moment, she looked less like an alien, more like someone simply lost. But Alex noticed something else. Wherever she walked, strange things happened. Streetlights flickered when she passed. Phones glitched, screens crackled. The air seemed heavier. It wasn't obvious, but to someone watching closely, it was clear. She didn't belong. And someone was watching. In a van parked across the street, 2 men monitored a screen. Strange spikes of energy appeared on their instruments. One whispered, "There again, same readings as last night." The other narrowed his eyes at the figure in the hood. "That's not human," he said quietly. "We need to report this." Alex had no idea they were being tracked, but as Lyra turned to him, her eyes glowed faintly. She whispered, "They are near." "Who?" Alex asked, confused. Lyra's voice was low, certain. "Hunters, or your people, it does not matter. Both will see me as danger." Alex's stomach twisted. He wanted to deny it, to say Earth was safe. But he knew she was right. If the government found her, she would vanish into a lab. And if the hunters had already reached Earth, then nowhere was safe. That night, back in the apartment, Alex turned on the news. Reports spoke of strange signals detected near the city. Officials called it satellite interference. But Alex knew better. The hunters were close. Closer than anyone realized. Lyra stood behind him, her voice calm but heavy. "You cannot hide me forever, Alex. Your world will see me, and when it does, you must choose. Will you protect me, or betray me again?" Her words struck deep. The choice he had once avoided had returned. But this time, the cost was greater. It was not just Lyra's life on the line. It was Earth itself. Outside, the night grew quiet, too quiet, and somewhere in that silence, unseen eyes were already searching for them. Until the city slept under a blanket of quiet night. But Alex could not sleep. He sat near the window, staring at the sky. The stars looked peaceful, but he knew better. Somewhere above, ships might already be here, watching, waiting. Lyra stood behind him, silent, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She didn't need to speak. Alex felt her tension. Every shadow outside seemed heavier, every sound sharper. Something was coming. At first it was small, a sudden tremor in the air. Streetlights flickered, dogs barked in the distance. Alex frowned, thinking it was nothing. But Lyra whispered, "They are here." Before Alex could answer, a low rumble shook the ground. The sound was not thunder. It was the heavy hum of engines. Engines not made by humans. He rushed to the balcony and saw it. A dark shape cutting through the night sky. Silent, massive, its edges glowing faintly blue. Alex's heart pounded. It wasn't a satellite. It was a ship. Moments later, the streets below filled with chaos. 3 figures appeared from the shadows, tall and armored. Their armor black as stone, their faces hidden behind masks. Strange weapons rested in their hands, glowing with deadly light. The hunters had arrived. Lyra stepped forward, her voice low but steady. "They track my energy. They will not stop, Alex. Not until I am gone." The hunters moved with unnatural grace. Every step they took sent fear crawling through Alex's chest. One of them raised a scanner, its light sweeping across the street. When it touched the building, Alex's apartment lit up on the display. "They found us," Lyra whispered. Before Alex could think, the first shot fired. A beam of burning energy sliced through the wall. The room shook Glass shattered, sparks flew. Alex fell back, his ears ringing. Lyra grabbed his arm, pulling him away just before another blast hit. "Move," she shouted. Together they ran through the apartment, the walls breaking apart behind them. The hunters did not miss, they did not hesitate. Every shot was meant to kill. They reached the stairwell, rushing down the dark steps. Other residents opened their doors, confused. But when they saw the glowing blasts tearing through the walls, screams filled the air. People scattered, running for their lives. The hunters didn't care about them. They wanted Lyra. Alex's breath came fast, his body shaking. This was no dream, no memory. This was war. Right here, in the middle of his city. He had brought it home. Outside, alarms blared, cars screeched. Lyra dragged him into an alley, pressing him against the wall. Her eyes glowed brighter. "Listen to me, Alex. If they take me, Earth will burn. They don't just hunt me, they erase everything connected to me. Your world will be their next graveyard." Alex swallowed hard, fear turning into something sharper. "No," he said, his voice stronger than he felt. "You're not alone this time. If they want you, they'll have to go through me." Lyra studied him for a second, and for the first time, her anger softened. A flicker of trust lit her eyes. "Then stay close, human," she whispered, "because tonight, your people will learn what hunters truly are." Above them, the massive ship slowly descended, its shadow covering the street like a storm cloud. The hunters' voices echoed through the air, cold, metallic, and final. Target acquired, no mercy. Alex clenched his fists. The night had changed. He was no longer just a man haunted by the past. He was standing in the middle of Earth's first battle. And this time, he refused to run. The truth revealed. The city burned with panic. Sirens screamed, lights flashed, and people ran in every direction. But in the middle of the chaos, Alex and Lyra hid inside the ruins of an old warehouse. Dust and smoke filled the air, the sound of hunter patrols echoing outside. Alex leaned against the wall, gasping for breath. His heart raced from the chase, but it wasn't just fear anymore. It was anger. He had seen the hunters shoot without hesitation. They didn't care about humans. Anyone near Lyra was marked for death. He turned to her, his voice sharp. "Tell me the truth, Lyra. Why are they after you? Were you hiding from me?" For a long moment, Lyra said nothing. Her silver eyes stared into the shadows as if searching for courage. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and heavy. "My people are gone, Alex. Not just killed, erased. Our world was burned. Our cities turned to dust. The hunters did not come only for land or power. They came for memory, for blood, for the very proof we existed." Alex frowned, trying to understand. "What do you mean erased?" Lyra's hands trembled slightly as she touched her chest. "I carry what they fear most, the last genetic key of my kind. Inside me lies the memory of my entire species. Our history, our knowledge, our voice. If I live, my people can rise again. If I die, then everything we were is gone forever." Alex froze. Her words hit him like a hammer. She wasn't just a survivor. She was the last hope of a dead civilization. Her blood was more than blood. It was a library, a seed, a legacy, and suddenly, her anger at him made sense. When he left her behind, he hadn't only abandoned one life. He had almost abandoned an entire world. Alex's throat tightened, guilt crushing him. "Lyra, I didn't know. I thought you were just—" She cut him off, her eyes flashing with pain. "Just one alien? Just one lost life, not worth saving? That is how you humans always see others. But I'm not just one. I am millions. I am the last voice of my people. And you left me." The silence between them felt like a blade. Alex lowered his head, shame burning through him. But then Lyra's voice softened. "Yet still, I searched for you. Do you know why, human? Because you gave me hope once. In the ruins, when I wanted to die, you told me I was safe. And those words carried me through years of darkness." Her confession shook him. She hated him for leaving, but she had also lived because of him. Two truths pulling her heart in different directions. Outside, the hunters' voices grew louder. Their scanners swept the streets, searching. Time was running out. Alex clenched his fists. Then we can't let them win. If you carry the memory of your people, we have to protect it. I won't abandon you this time. Not for orders, not for fear, not for anything. Lyra's glowing eyes softened at his words. For the first time, the anger faded and something warmer took its place. Trust, fragile but real. She stepped closer, whispering, "Then know this, Alex. By standing with me, you're not only protecting one life. You're declaring war against those who killed a world. The hunters will not forgive. They will not stop. They will burn Earth if they must." Alex swallowed hard, the weight of her truth pressing down on him. This was bigger than guilt, bigger than one choice. This was survival of species, and now his species was tangled with hers. Footsteps echoed outside the warehouse, heavy and close. The hunters were here. Lyra looked at him, her voice steady and cold. "Decide, human. Do you fight with me, or do you watch another world burn?" Alex met her eyes, his fear burning into resolve. He had made his choice. This time he would not run. This time he would fight. Final choice. The warehouse shook as the hunters closed in. Their heavy footsteps echoed like war drums. The night outside was no longer silent. Sirens wailed, flames burned, and the hunter's ship hung in the sky like a dark moon. Alex stood with Lyra in the shadows, her silver eyes glowing faintly, her face calm but unyielding. She had told him the truth. She was the last memory of her people. If she died, a civilization would vanish forever. If she lived, the hunters would never stop, and Earth was caught in the middle. "Alex," Lyra whispered, her voice low but steady. "You must choose now. Protect me, and you risk your world. Give me to them, and your world will be safe. But my people will be gone forever." Her words hit him like thunder. It was the choice he had always feared. Duty or compassion, orders or heart. He had failed once before, but this time the weight was heavier. The hunters burst into the warehouse, their black armor shining under dim light. Weapons raised, scanners locking on Lyra's glow. Their leader's voice rang out, cold and metallic. "Human, step aside. She belongs to us." For a brief moment, Alex felt small. He was just one man, no weapon, no armor, no plan. But then, something inside him burned, a voice rising in his chest. He thought of Lyra's face in the ruins, her scream, her anger, her hope. He thought of every word she spoke, and he knew humans don't survive by running. They survive by fighting for what matters. Alex stepped forward, standing between Lyra and the hunters. His voice shook, but his words were clear. "She belongs to no one. Not anymore." The hunters froze, surprised at his defiance. The leader tilted his head. "You would sacrifice your planet for her? For one alien?" Alex's eyes narrowed. "She's not just one. She carries a people, and if you think I'll betray that again, you don't understand humans." The hunters raised their weapons. Energy hummed, the air vibrating with deadly power. But before they could fire, Lyra stepped beside Alex, her body glowing brighter than ever. For the first time, her anger was not directed at him. It was aimed at them. She whispered, "Then fight with me." And the warehouse exploded in light. Lyra unleashed a wave of energy. Walls cracked, the ground shook. The hunters staggered, their weapons flickering. Alex grabbed a broken pipe, charging at the nearest one. He swung with all his strength, knocking the weapon aside. The hunter roared, but Alex didn't stop. For once, he wasn't running from his past. He was charging into it. Together, human and alien fought side by side. Lyra's power tore through the hunter's armor. Alex's courage turned weakness into strength. One by one, the hunters fell, until only silence remained. Smoke filled the warehouse, the floor littered with broken steel and sparks. Alex stood panting, his body shaking, but he was still alive, and so was she. Lyra looked at him, her expression unreadable. Then, slowly, her anger faded. She whispered softly, almost like a promise. "This time, you did not leave me." Alex gave a tired smile. "I told you, Lyra. Humans don't abandon those who trust them." Outside, the hunter's ship roared in the sky. It was not the end. More would come. The world had seen too much. Earth was no longer hidden. But Alex didn't feel fear anymore. For the first time, he felt ready. Because sometimes, one choice can change everything. And his choice was clear. Stand, fight, protect. Not just for Earth, not just for Lyra, but for the future of two worlds. The night sky burned with light. A new war was coming. But so was hope.